I'm back. Welcome back. It's been a minute. I say that every single time, but I was supposed to upload on Friday. You should expect an upload from me every single Friday, and this Friday wasn't able to due to certain reasons. But I did a community post, so if you want to go check that out, I highly recommend it. There's some really good, valuable lessons in that. But today, I'm here to share my very first analogy with you guys, or theory, analogy/theory. Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to know me as a person, and you're very lucky that I actually shared some of my ideas, my profound, vast, strong, well communicated ideas, then you would not be new to this. But for most of you, this is a new thing. So we're gonna share my first analogy on this YouTube channel, and I was gonna try and explain to why you should listen to this, but no. Listen to it if you want. There's some value in this, and I discovered this about a week ago. I'm communicating it now. I didn't get the chance to before, but I call this the scarf pin theory, or the thumbtack theory, or the one of those two. So essentially, now I want you to picture a scarf pin or a thumbtack, or so whatever that ball is, and then there's a needle that comes out of it. So picture that in your mind. What you're looking at now is the two-dimensional view of it. You can't see all three dimensions at the same time. So what you're looking at is that. So take the 3D-ness away from it. So what I'm saying in my mind is just flatten it down to how you draw it on a paper. The whole thing. And now that part that switches from the ball to the needle. Hang on with me here. Just remove that. So this is in your mind. This is just a circle with essentially a line coming out of it. But the line has a small thinness that it has a thickness. It's not just a line. So what this here is an analogy for how we should live life. What I found from a lot of the people around me and just how we've been told to live life is that we're supposed to read the book and follow the laws. Whether it's religion, whether it's school, whether it's government, whether it's anything around you, any system or organization you're in, you've been given a set of rules and you've been told to follow them. You've been given a book of rules and you're supposed to follow them. And what I'm here to argue is life is not about reading the book and following the laws. And we can often get confused in the point of life, and we often think that we're living life to its fullest extent. We're being the best we can be if we're following the laws the best. But that's not necessarily the case, and I even myself fall into this trap where sometimes I think certain activities that I do aren't particularly ones deplored or adorned by the book, and in this I'm referencing the Quran, but they're not something, or not even the Quran, but just the book of laws. What we're not, and not what is haram and what is halal, what is permissible, what is impermissible. And when I do an action and it doesn't seem like it's supposed to bring me closer to God, but in reality it does. So let me elaborate on this idea. Let's take, for example, first school. What we often see is that we are given a textbook and we're told to read the textbook, learn the textbook, learn who created the laws, learn everything about the laws, learn everything about the book, and then that's it. You're tested on that. And that's how life has been structured for all of us. We've been given a set of laws. We've been told firmly what we can and cannot do. Let's keep this education related. So we've been given this textbook and we're been told not to venture out, not to test the boundaries, right? We're not expected to do any of that. And by nature, we don't, because we've been set boundaries and we're now let's go back to the analogy here, a scarf pin. We're now sat in the middle of the ball. So going back, it's a ball with a needle coming out of it with some thickness. We are often sat in the middle of the ball. The walls of the ball in this situation are the laws that we've been told to follow, the firm boundaries that we cannot escape. And by escaping it, I'm not saying break the laws and escape reality and try to become someone who's better than the law or whatever. It's none of that. We've been given these firm laws, and we've been told to follow them, and that's a reasonable ask. But we've been stuck in the middle of this ball. 99.9% of the population is sat within the center of this ball. Nobody wants to venture out towards the edge of the ball, towards the border. No one wants to explore the laws. We just want to know why they're there, where they are, and why they're there, and let's just stay as far as away possible. That way, we're being the best person we can be. If we're following the laws, then we're being good, aren't we? And that's the trick that fooled everyone. And that's the trick that continues to fool everyone. If we take the laws of gravity, for example, Newton said, hey, here are the laws of gravity. Here are the laws of physics. Object in motion stays in motion, or here's gravity, right? If we look simply in history at the Wright brothers, for example, we see that they were unable to take flight. And they were told from the people around them, this is impossible. We're not going to be able to get our feet off ground. Like, hot air balloon is the only thing we can basically use. There's no machine that can propel a human and keep us perpetually in air for as long as possible. That's not a thing. What are you talking about? You're crazy. And he was given the laws, but what the Wright brothers didn't do is they didn't sit in the middle of the ball and say, hey, let's follow the rules. What they did instead is what I have this analogy made out to be. If you look at the ball, and if we upscale it so large, and if we shrink the needle, there you will realize that the ball still has the borders, but there will be one point within those walls of the pin that leads to a path that goes down to some direction, to the sharp point of the needle. So, circle doesn't fully open at the top, and then goes into a pin. What the people who have revolutionized knowledge, people who have become significant players in whatever domain they are, they have always found that point, tested the laws, found where the boundaries go. They didn't break the laws, but they found that needle point and they went through it. They found that needle point and they went towards it, and they kept going. Now, I want you to picture that we are all people living within a planet that's kind of this shape. And we're all blind. Nobody wants to venture out. We all want to stay close in the center. That way we don't have to run into the wall and hit our heads. But we're too scared of hitting our heads. And that's why we don't get anywhere. That's why the Wright brothers were told they were going to fail. That's why if you look at even any other example, philosophers, mathematicians, everyone, it's not going to happen. If you look at the space journey, every single time you look at a story in history, it's like you're going to fail, but they pushed the boundaries. They said, here are the borders, and we're going to make it through. And that's simply how you become great. Now, let's import this idea to what's most important. Religion. Here's the key point. If you're still with me, religion is often thought as the guidance of life. These laws that we need to put, that is implemented for us because it's what's best for us. If you're Muslim, you believe that the Quran establishes the best laws for you and that's what you need to reside within. No, because that's the same problem. We fall into the same trap of wanting to follow the laws and thinking that's what makes us better. The person who gets to that needle point, the person who gets to the point in which you can escape this ball of constantly being scared of hitting your head on the walls, they are the ones who achieve the greatness. They're the ones who achieve the great relationship with God. And we're too scared. And for this, it's controversial to say, but I've already said it. Islam is not about reading the book and following the laws. And someone might hear that and say, what? Are you serious? Like, hello, we've been given the Quran. Like, what's the whole point in it? No. You're getting stuck. You're getting stuck. Because we've been given the amount of depth that the Quran talks about our mind and escaping what we understand, escaping the reality that we think we perceive, that something has value when in reality it does not, is to understand the real ideals of society, the real importance of how things work. If you sit in the middle and you follow the laws, you're just going to be just another Muslim. And the person who makes his way through the needle point follows the same laws, follows the same boundaries because he's still confined within them. He doesn't escape the scarf pin. He's still within the ball, but he found that way out where he could find the greatness. And it turns out when you get into that needle point, you're going to keep hitting your head over and over again. Like I said, a blind man, if you're in a tiny little space and you don't know where to go, you're just going to keep hitting your head, but you have to keep going. The importance is you find that point and keep moving at it. It is hard, and I think right now I am in the needle point just the very beginning, and I've only just begun. But now that I know that there's a way, I'm going to keep hitting my head. And as Ryan Holiday says, the obstacle is the way. Just keep going. The obstacle is the way. Apply this to this. And I mentioned this whole thing, this whole analogy, because it has value in that you can apply it to your own life. Apply it to your schooling. This is how you become creative. This is how you excel in your field. You don't do it by reading the book and saying, oh, okay, this is what I can and cannot do. All right, let me just not do either. What? No, you find the boundaries, you find that thin point, and you needle yourself way through. You can apply this to sports. You can apply this to anything. So I'm sharing this with you so you can apply it to some aspect of your life, hoping that it finally gets you going into the full threshold that you believe you're capable of. If you apply it, you can get much guidance from it. I've applied it a few times in my life. And if you're ever feeling lost, you can also look to the people who have escaped it. Now, last point I'll touch on is there was something I found last semester last year, end of last year, when I was getting into everything that I'm doing. I found myself adorned or amused or inspired by those who found that point. So I realized last year that there is this point where we do escape. And every person I saw who seemed to be down that path, I was always amused by it. There was a class presentation by someone in the military. I was in a different headspace. I was admiring that they found that strength, that feat within their own life. And this is what it took to become great for everyone. Find that. And you'll become in love with it. Because life isn't just about reading the book and following the laws. It's about moving forward. It's about finding the boundaries, pushing to your max capability, pushing to your fullest. And if you're not doing that, well then stop asking why you're so lost in life and stop asking why life is not going well for you, or stop saying that you don't know what to do. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to do it. I'm telling you how you can make it easier for you. This doesn't even have to be like I know better than you and I'm going to tell you what to do. This could also be, hey, here's a good analogy I could start applying to my life. That could push me even further. So do this what you want. I'm a man of my word. I made a video today. I'm glad I did. Different kind of content style. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And I'll 100% take feedback. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't. Liked if you liked the video. And take care and good luck.